Happy Star Wars Friday, YouTubers. We gotta talk about the Knights of Ren. There's new evidence that they might be working on a spin-off film for them. Let me know what you guys think of the new Rick and Morty background too. I thought it was time for a change. I've had the Minecraft thing for forever. But if you're new to the channel, I do Star Wars videos every week. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's even a Star Wars giveaway going on now that I'll explain at the end of the video. But we gotta talk about the Knights of Ren and the spin-off movies. So last year, J.J. Abrams teed up the idea, I'd really like to see a movie about the Knights of Ren, something that he introduced in The Force Awakens.
What do you want to see in a future anthology film in the Star Wars universe?
I gotta say, Kathy Kennedy, who's running it all, she seems to be sort of, hitting all the right, pushing all the right buttons. I mean, I feel like there isn't something that I would love to see. I mean, I guess the one thing I would say is that there's a Knights of Ren story that I think could be pretty cool to tell.
Just this really badass group working for Snoke the way the Inquisitors were working for the Emperor during the Rebels period. If you don't watch the Rebels cartoon, they actually just got renewed for season 4. Obi-Wan is getting ready for a rematch with Darth Maul this weekend.
I can feel his presence. See him. My mind's eye. Will it end here? Like this?
They have a group of dark side Force users of varying levels of ability. Some of them are fallen light side Jedi that are very powerful. Some of them only have rudimentary Force training, but they're the Emperor's dogs of war that hunt down the last of the Jedi to kill them. So in The Force Awakens, or at least in the new trilogy, Snoke has a group that's like this that's led by Kylo Ren. He's named after the Knights of Ren. So I don't want to call it their Suicide Squad film, but just because Star Wars typically revolves around really good characters doesn't mean that they couldn't also do a film about big villain characters. But depending on which order you watch them in, all 6 previous saga films have revolved around Darth Vader. So you could argue that all the films are about villains, they just have a lot of heroes in them. Doing a Knights of Ren spin-off film would just be a cool way to pick up on new characters and do something that they haven't done before. They still haven't confirmed what that third Solo movie is going to be. They'll probably wait either till Celebration this year or Celebration the year that the Han Solo movie comes out, which is still a couple years away. We got that brief flash of them during The Force Awakens, but we learned a little bit about them in the expanded canon in the Visual Dictionary. There's a new theory that they were formed out of the Acolytes of the Beyond, which is a group that served Palpatine before the fall of the Empire, then spun into Snoke's new First Order, and as he appropriated all their resources, it stands to reason that he would also seek to create his own Special Forces team the way that Palpatine did. In the Aftermath book series, which is canon, we meet the group, the Acolytes of Beyond. They try to find Darth Vader's lightsaber and return it to him in death, but it's only the beginning. So you have this group of dark side worshippers. It's sort of like a dark version of the Church of the Force that worship Darth Vader the way that Kylo Ren did many years later. He has his helmet. It makes sense that aspects of that group would flow into the Knights of Ren because they talk about something very powerful coming from beyond. Now they could be speaking in metaphors, but because the Aftermath book series takes place in between the old films and the new films, it makes sense the very powerful thing they say is coming is actually Snoke. So he comes, he forms the Knights of Ren. The really cool thing about the name Ren is that it means rebirth in the Hindu culture. So the Acolytes of the Beyond are more interested in the rebirth of Darth Vader, but in a way so is Kylo Ren. So wouldn't it make sense that he becomes the rebirth of Darth Vader? Now, this is all self-described. I don't believe that he's actually the rebirth of Vader, but I think that he wants to believe that so much. Grandfather, show me the visions again.
Show me again the power of the darkness, and I will let nothing stand in our way. Show me, Grandfather, and I will finish what you started.
So he wants to bring order to the galaxy. I mean, he's a little bit crazy, but he's not completely insane. He does have a plan, and we're supposed to learn about it in the next film.
Kylo Ren idolizes Darth Vader, but Darth Vader turns good. So why does Kylo Ren idolize Darth Vader so much if he's bad?
Kylo Ren idolizes Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
He idolizes this, what Vader represents and what Vader was trying to do. And the idea that Vader didn't succeed, he was, if you look at it from Ren's point of view, he was seduced by the enemy and failed because of that seduction. And so the idea is that Ren wants to complete the thing that Vader started.
That's super interesting, man. That's really good. And what is inside Ren that made him turn bad?
An incredible power, an incredible force, an incredible potential that was, like with many young people, sort of misguided and unclear. And the story for him is one of conflict, not just external conflict, but internal conflict.
Yeah.
And it's what makes him, I think, a rather interesting villain.
But you can see how these sequence of events lead to the creation of the Knights of Ren. Group worshipping Darth Vader after he's died, seek to communicate with him in death. Eventually Kylo Ren comes along, the grandson of Vader. Snoke appropriates him. They seek the rebirth of Vader and twist his mind. What we don't know is at what point Kylo Ren became the Vader fanboy seeking to bring about his dark vision for the galaxy. The way they've been presented in the narrative is very seductive, but we learn that Kylo Ren got in a lot of trouble as a child. That's one of the reasons why Leia sent him to study with Luke, because he had so much potential, and when you have potential that's wasted, usually people have crazy ways of lashing out in their frustration. So imagine you're Ben Solo and you find this group that's worshiping your father. It can be incredibly seductive. But I think the idea of rebirth, the Knights of Ren, all flows from Snoke. That's something that he created to be his special forces. So Snoke is basically taking gasoline and throwing it on the flame that is Kylo Ren's ego, saying, you have purpose, you're the rebirth of Vader, giving him that Hindu name of rebirth. So now you start to understand why it is he's working with Snoke, even though it seems like he's doing really bad things. It's all in the way you spin it. We're doing this to bring order to the galaxy, to get rid of the old ways of the Jedi and create something new. It's just that from Luke Skywalker's perspective, from a distance, what they're creating is very evil, very ominous. And when you hear about what Snoke and the First Order did to discredit Luke, then you start to realize what's going on. Were they to do a Knights of Ren movie, they would probably try to do something of a prequel, because Kylo Ren, even though he became the leader of the Knights of Ren, his alter ego name is Kylo Ren. Snoke had people he trained before Ben Solo, so there was a Knights of Ren before Ben Solo came along. So you do a film more about them, and you would keep Kylo Ren in the saga films. Gareth Edwards actually confirmed recently that they are committed to not making the future saga films about legacy characters. So they're talking about Luke, Leia, Han Solo, all the characters that you've known and loved for a long time. They have all this new canon, they're introducing all these new characters, they'll be exploring that going forward, which I think is a good thing for Star Wars to remain healthy. You have to bring in new blood, and that doesn't mean that they won't include characters that we've seen before. There's talk of the new saga characters coming back for another trilogy after they're done with this one. Nothing's confirmed. The big takeaway is there's not going to be a fourth saga centered on the Skywalker family. But let me know in the comments, who do you think the Knights of Ren are? Do you think that they're just the extension of the Acolytes of the Beyond? And do you think that J.J. Abrams is right and they will do a film about the Knights of Ren? Anything they do will be a lot of fun. I'm sure they'll make a good film. Rogue One started out looking like a nightmare if you hear the stories about how that came together, and they turned it into a really good film. So if they can do that with a film that's as messy as that was when they were shooting it, then they can definitely take this dark side Spec Ops team and make a really badass movie about them. So leave all your requests for Star Wars bonus videos in the comments below. What's going to happen next is I have some new Infinity War to post. Iron Fist just dropped. If you haven't started watching it, be sure to check it out. I posted a couple videos for that so far. And I'll say congratulations to the latest Star Wars giveaway winner, Devil May Cry. You win a $20 Amazon gift card. Be sure to private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. So there's a new round that started in this video. I'll just announce the winner when I post my next Star Wars video. While you wait for that, click here for more episode 8, and you can click here to learn about what the Game of Thrones producers revealed at the big panel that they did this past weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys in the next video.